You see, Diddy has been hit with $100 million lawsuit.
Yeah. And finally, one of the girls from Danity Kane, one of the black girls from Danity Kane, is now also coming forward. You want to know what I find interesting?
What's that?
All of these bloggers that started coming after me, starting with Tasha K. 4 years ago, they called me a liar. 4 years ago, they made it their business to disgrace me because they said I was lying about Diddy and all the celebrities I spoke about.
Jaguar Wright is back, and this time, she's not holding back. Fresh out of a grueling 30 hours behind bars, she's unleashing a storm on none other than Diddy. Buckle up, because Jaguar's revelations are explosive, revealing secrets and scandals that will leave you speechless. What really happened in those hours of confinement? And why is she targeting Diddy with such ferocity? Stay tuned as we dive deep into the fiery accusations and jaw-dropping truths Jaguar Wright has to share. But before that, don't forget to subscribe. Let's dive in. After being released, Wright spent no time jumping onto social media and various platforms to share her experiences and grievances, particularly targeting Diddy. Wright didn't hold back in her tirade against him. She accused Diddy of numerous unethical practices, including exploiting young artists, manipulating, and creating a toxic environment in the industry. According to Wright, Diddy has used his power to control and intimidate others, ensuring his interests are prioritized over the well-being of those around him. It's been a chaotic year, and even now, an old interview from last year is trending even more because Wright's words have proved prophetic. What she predicted is coming true, especially regarding certain people she called out in that interview. It's not just about their downfall, but seeing their lack of integrity coming to light. On the day of the raid, Wright received numerous notifications, mentions, and phone calls. On that day, both Miami and California properties were raided simultaneously. The New York house was raided as well, although this wasn't widely reported. 3 states were working in tandem, and the officers weren't told whose homes they were raiding. They went in tactical as instructed, unaware they were raiding Diddy's houses.
Tonight, the first public statement from music mogul Sean Diddy Combs following raids on 2 of his homes as part of a possible sex trafficking investigation.
You arrested me just because we want to have a good time.
We're seeing that large presence.
The higher-ups kept this information secret because Diddy, being a federal informant, had connections within the force. They wanted to ensure the raid was legitimate, so they didn't inform anyone whose homes were targeted. That's why the raid in Beverly Hills, near the Playboy Mansion, was so intense. The officers only realized it was Diddy's house after seeing his kids. This secrecy was essential to prevent any leaks and ensure the operation's success. What are the thoughts on the Forrest show? Even without knowing, they did their job. He's got guns and explicit content on VHS tapes. One of Wright's most serious accusations against Diddy involves exploiting young artists. She claims that Diddy, through his record label Bad Boy Records, has a history of taking advantage of naive and inexperienced musicians. Wright alleges that Diddy has manipulated contracts, withheld royalties, and used various other tactics to keep artists under his control while profiting from their work. Wright refers to these exploited artists as honeycombs, a term coined by Jamal Peterson, who even calls Diddy Diddy Glover because of his resemblance to actor Danny Glover. This nickname adds a layer of irony to the situation. Wright's allegations shine a spotlight on the darker side of the music industry, suggesting that Diddy has built his empire on the backs of young, vulnerable talent. The conversation shifts to what was known about Diddy, also known as Puff Daddy or P. Diddy, that the public was unaware of. Wright hints at having insider knowledge from 3 or 4 years ago that has since come to light. When asked to elaborate, she hesitates, indicating that revealing how she knew Cassie would come forward could harm certain individuals. This cautious approach underscores the sensitive nature of her information and the potential repercussions of disclosing it. The last time Wright spoke out, she congratulated Young Miami and advised her to run as fast as Cassie did. This statement not only hints at the turbulent and possibly dangerous environments surrounding Diddy, but also suggests that those close to him should be wary. Wright's warnings and revelations paint a picture of an industry filled with manipulation and control, where the powerful exploit the powerless. Wright's insights offer a glimpse into the secretive and often harsh realities behind the glamour of the music business, making her accusations against Diddy all the more compelling and alarming. The unfolding drama surrounding these allegations continues to captivate and intrigue, revealing the dark underbelly of fame and success in the entertainment world. That was quite a statement. Did Wright see anything suspicious around Cassie? Wright clarifies that she didn't spend much time with Cassie and hasn't seen her in person since Cassie was with Ryan Leslie. When pressed, Wright suggests that there are mutual acquaintances between them, hinting at a deeper connection without revealing too much. Wright didn't speak directly to Cassie, but was aware of her situation through others. She reviewed Cassie's claims and found them to align perfectly with what she had revealed in an interview with Storm Monroe 3.5 years ago.
But at the end of the day, I got something to say about this because I want to make it very clear in this moment. Cassie, I will advocate for you. No different than I did for Jennifer Huff. I will advocate for you. Because, see, I know something that a lot of people don't know. I know that you and Kim Porter had a sit down right before she left us.
This consistency between past allegations and Cassie's recent claims suggests a pattern of behavior that Wright had exposed long before it became public knowledge. Nothing in Cassie's indictment surprised Wright, and she believes it shouldn't surprise anyone else either. Young Jack's involvement adds another layer to the story. After making truthful statements about Diddy, Jack allegedly received a call from Diddy, prompting him to backtrack and clean up his comments. This incident highlights Diddy's influence and the pressure he can exert on those around him. Stevie J's position in the ongoing beef between 50 Cent and Diddy is also mentioned. Wright doesn't know where Stevie J stands in the feud, but makes a playful remark about him, suggesting she knows more about his personal life than his professional stance. This adds a touch of humor to the otherwise serious accusations. Wright further accuses Diddy of being manipulative and controlling. She claims he uses his influence to create an environment where those who work with him feel indebted and obligated to remain loyal. This manipulation extends beyond business, affecting personal relationships and creating a toxic atmosphere. Wright's allegations paint a picture of a man who uses power and influence to control those around him, ensuring their loyalty through a mix of intimidation and obligation. Jaguar Wright's statements suggest a deep-rooted issue within the music industry, where powerful figures like Diddy can exploit their positions to maintain control over others. Her revelations continue to captivate and intrigue, shedding light on the darker side of fame and success. The unfolding drama surrounding these allegations keeps the public engaged, eager to see what will happen next and whether justice will be served for those who have been wronged. She describes a culture of fear and intimidation within the music industry where dissent is not tolerated, and those who speak out are ostracized or blacklisted. She claims Diddy's behavior has significantly contributed to this toxic environment, setting a precedent for other executives and artists to follow. This perpetuates a cycle of abuse and exploitation, normalizing unethical behavior throughout the industry. Wright's allegations suggest that Diddy's influence extends far beyond his own label, impacting the broader industry and fostering an atmosphere where unethical practices are standard. This has led to a widespread issue where power dynamics are abused and the well-being of artists is compromised for the benefit of those in control. The public reaction to Wright's statements has been mixed. Some people have applauded her bravery and willingness to speak out against powerful figures in the industry. They see her as a whistleblower shedding light on dark truths. Others, however, are more skeptical, questioning her motivations and the accuracy of her claims. Despite these differing opinions, Wright's comments have sparked significant discussion and debate, drawing much-needed attention to the issues she has raised. Social media has played a crucial role in amplifying Wright's voice. Platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube have allowed her to reach a wide audience and share her experiences in real time. This direct communication has enabled Wright to bypass traditional media channels, giving her a platform to express her grievances and rally support. The power of social media has been instrumental in bringing her story to the forefront, highlighting the pervasive issues within the music industry and encouraging a broader conversation about abuse and exploitation. Meanwhile, during an interview with Dialogue, the host asked Gene Deal for his thoughts on a story shared by Jaguar Wright. Wright claimed to know a lawyer who walked in on Christopher Williams performing fellatio on Diddy in exchange for a demo deal. Deal responded with skepticism, saying, "I don't know how true that is. I've heard those rumors, but knowing Christopher Williams, it's hard to believe."
Bruh, I don't know how true that is. I've heard that but I know Christopher Williams. And I know Christopher Williams was a crazy, gangster-ass nigga from Mount Vernon.
Deal described Christopher Williams as a tough guy from Mount Vernon, Westchester. He emphasized that Williams was known for carrying a .32 or .38 caliber gun and wasn't afraid to use it. Williams had a reputation for being rough with his hands, even with women. The host continued the story, explaining that the lawyer who allegedly witnessed the incident immediately left the office upon seeing what was happening. Wright identified the man involved as Christopher Williams. Deal mentioned another individual who worked with Bad Boy Records, noting that this person and Christopher Williams looked very similar. They were both light-skinned with curly hair, and their resemblance was so strong that they could have been mistaken for brothers. Deal expressed his doubt, stating that if anyone was involved in such an incident, it would more likely be the other individual, not Christopher Williams. The likeness between the two men might have caused confusion, but Deal firmly believed it wasn't Williams. Currently, Diddy has not publicly responded to Wright's latest allegations. In the past, he has typically either remained silent or issued general statements about his commitment to integrity and respect within the industry. This silence has only fueled further speculation and debate, leaving many wondering whether he will address the claims head-on or continue to remain quiet. Wright's accusations against Diddy, if proven true, could have significant implications for the music industry. They shine a light on ongoing issues related to power dynamics, exploitation, and unethical behavior that have long plagued the industry. If Wright's claims gain traction, they could lead to increased scrutiny of industry practices and potentially prompt widespread calls for reform. In light of Wright's allegations, there have been renewed calls for reform within the music industry. Advocates are pushing for greater transparency, stronger protections for artists, and accountability for those in positions of power. Proposed measures include fair contract terms, independent oversight, and support systems for artists vulnerable to exploitation. The hope is that these reforms will create a safer, more equitable environment for all artists, ensuring that their rights and well-being are prioritized over the interests of powerful executives. In an interview, Jaguar Wright revealed the extent of her harassment, detailing how she had to change her phone number yet again. This was due to a series of bomb threats and false accusations that she was attempting to commit suicide online with a knife, prompting police to show up at her door. Wright displayed several police cards, evidence of her address being leaked by Patrice Garner, also known as Chatty Patty. This malicious act led to a barrage of chaos at her residence. Wright continued, explaining how her phone number was also exposed by her last YouTube boyfriend. She lamented the fact that YouTube consistently sent individuals to harass her, describing her experiences with both a YouTube boyfriend and girlfriend who were involved in this harassment. She expressed her frustration, emphasizing that the people sent to trouble her were always less intelligent than expected. "Don't send stupid people for a smart job," she quipped, highlighting the absurdity of the situation. This harassment escalated further when her husband was arrested for allegedly blowing up a car. Wright claimed that once her husband was in custody, he would have no choice but to reveal how YouTube paid him to betray her. She accused YouTube of orchestrating these actions to ensure she would end up in jail, where they could allegedly poison her.